We just spent the first 7 weeks of our 6-month bicycle tour cycling all around France, visiting friends and exploring the beautiful southern regions as we snaked our way slowly towards the coast. For a trip like this, you might think that we'd have a proper plan. What countries we were going to visit, cities, and even an end destination. But we really just made it up as we went along. Early on though, we decided that rather than cycling over the Alps, which would obviously be quite difficult, we'd circumvent them via Corsica so we could go to the beach more and then go to Italy and start heading towards Romania as a sort of rough plan. If you've even heard of Corsica, then you probably had more information about it than me.
Oh, this is Corsica.
I'd never really heard about it apart from just in passing, and it's just not a destination that's marketed to the UK much. There certainly aren't cheap flights from Scotland, and honestly it's just not somewhere that seems to come up as a travel destination. However, I've found that French people travel around country a lot, and Corsica is a massively popular destination. From camper vans, cyclists, adventurers, to just your regular pleasure seekers, it's a much sought after destination, and people tend to light up when you talk about it. It's called the Jewel of the Mediterranean for a reason, and it honestly boasts some of the most beautiful coastlines I've ever seen. Unfortunately though, everyone also has a very strong opinion about how you'll handle it on a touring bike, especially a fully loaded one. It's renowned for its challenging climbs, and people are very quick to tell you all about it.
Vous allez en Corse? Non, à vélo. Vous allez où comme ça? Mais ça monte, hein? Vous avez des vélos électriques, non? Ah, la Corse, c'est beau, c'est magnifique, mais c'est dur, hein? Mais ils sont lourds, vos vélos, là, non? Ça pèse combien? 40 kilos. Vous allez galérer, hein?
Nevertheless, we weren't discouraged, and waking up from the night ferry about 5 in the morning, we laid our eyes on the island as the sun rose and we sleepily arrived into L'ile Rousse. It seemed like the most scenic route was to head west and follow the coast anti-clockwise all the way around back up to the north to Bastia, where we take the boat to Italy. Coming into the port we were excited. There's a really different vibe here. There's a different accent, there's even a different language, the environment, the people, it's a very distinct island. The cafes that serve breakfast for all the people coming off the boat are extortionate, but luckily we managed to find a small cafe nearby and we tried to wake up and enjoyed some pastries and coffee. The locals gave us some tips for the road, and rather than taking the regular coast, we'd head a tiny bit more inland, which offered quieter roads but rewarded you with all the views. Spurred on by caffeine, we hit the road and got moving. After weeks of storms, the weather was spectacular. The views were stunning and we were absolutely loving it. Lily insisted on a detour to Sant'antonino, which I was definitely not up for, but it was totally worth it. We made it to the top and we were taken aback by the inland mountains that made us look like we were more in Hawaii than as if we were still in Europe. We had another coffee at the top and then started making our way towards Calvi. We'd been warned that the road was in terrible condition and it was too steep for our bikes fully loaded to cycle up. But generally, as a rule, whatever people tell you, always expect the opposite. If they tell you the distance in kilometres, it will either be half that or double the length. Only accept advice from other cyclists, and even then, you should only really trust other bike tourers. Most of the time what they say is total nonsense. It was quite steep, but the roads had all been just recently tarmacked, so the guy was literally talking out his arse. We stopped for a sandwich along the way, but we were just enjoying ourselves and not really in a rush to go anywhere. It felt like proper summer again. We decided to treat ourselves and stop in Calvi for a night so that we'd get to go to the beach and visit the town. The beach was nice and we put our travel chairs to good use. We went into the town and had a mediocre pizza and a nice beer before wandering back to the camp. On the way we met this dog in a garden. I honestly still regularly look at this video and a couple pictures of this dog. I think about this dog all the time. The three of us in that moment connected on a deep level, and honestly I just actually can't believe how much I love this dog. Just look at him. I will never forget this dog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first part of cycling all the way around Corsica. If you liked the video, then give us a like and leave a comment if you have any questions about cycling in Corsica, and I'll see you next time.